What up, YouTube? You already know Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou and MZR2, baby. Bye. So check it out. Today is the birthday of Roberto Enrique Clemente Walker. All right, he was born on August 18th, 1934. Today he would have been 90 years old. He was still alive. Um, as most people know, um, if you're into baseball, most people know he's Puerto Rican. He came from the island. He's born in Carolina, um, and he came to the U.S. to play baseball. He was discovered in Puerto Rico. Um, he played for the Santurce Cangrejeros, and he was a hell of a ball player. Right, he passed away in '72 doing some humanitarian work for Nicaragua. At the time, he was still playing baseball at the time. I want to say he was in his 16th or 17th season, 15th season, something like that, when he got, when the plane crashed. And you know, it's unfortunate when a talented anybody that young and obviously talented, they're a culture figure, and in sports, music, acting, political, any type of figure like that, uh, die so young, and then not only that, a tragic way, car accident, helicopter, uh, plane crash, train accident, uh, and of course on top of being murdered. That I mean, that's and that's happened too with a lot of people in the past, right? Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X. It's been a lot. Tempted on Ronald Reagan, attempt on Donald Trump. John Lennon. Um, there's been many over the years, but Clemente, like I already mentioned, he's from Puerto Rico, and he's a big hero to a lot of people of Puerto Rican descent. Also Latin American, other people from other countries in Latin America or islands, which the islands are considered Latin America too. Cuba, Dominican Republic, obviously South America, Central America, Mexico. Mexico is part of the northern is part of North America. Anyways, he was played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Played his entire career with the Pirates. Right fielder. During his time, he was coming up with the likes of Willie Mays, with Hank Aaron, with Frank Robinson. Uh, the National League had a lot of young superstars for outfield. Um, in right field, he shared with Hank Aaron and Frank Robinson. So it was, and then you still had Duke Snyder. More towards the tail end of his career. Um, so this dude also Roberto Clemente also was right in the middle of the segregation. And since he was dark skinned, more on the Afro Latino, Afro Rican, Afro Boricua side. He had to follow them rules and rules of the South, the rules of lots of parts of the country at the time where it was segregation, right? So they could only use certain doors to enter places. They could only sit on certain spots on the bus. They can only use certain bathrooms and drinking fountains and so on and so forth. They couldn't go into certain businesses. So let me give a little background. So he was born, like I said, today, 90 years ago, August 18th, 1934. He passed away December 31st, the last day of 1972. Puerto Rican professional baseball player who played 18 seasons. So I was off by a couple. 18 seasons in the major league for the Pittsburgh Pirates, primarily in right field. In '72, Clemente died in a crash of a plane he had chartered to take emergency relief goods for the survivors of a massive earthquake in Nicaragua. After his sudden death, the National Baseball Hall of Fame changed its rules so that a player who had died for at least 6 months would be eligible for entry. In '73, Clemente was inducted, becoming the first player from the Caribbean and Latin America to be honored in the Hall of Fame. That's what I forgot to name, because he's not the first Puerto Rican, but he's the first Latino to be inducted. Um, so he's, like I said, he's born in Barrio San Anton, Carolina. And he died off the coast of Isla Verde, Puerto Rico. He was only 38 years old, so he could have played easily 3 more seasons, easy, no problem. He batted right, threw right. He first debuted in April 17, 1955, for the Pirates, and his last game was October 3rd, '72, for the Pirates. He's a 317 all-time hitting. That's his all-time batting average. 317. That's pretty damn good. And he finished with exactly 3,000 hits. He hit 240 home runs, and he has 1,305 runs batted in. He's a 15-time All-Star, 1960 through 1967. And then 1969, 70, 71, 72, and 70, or excuse me, 69, 70, 71, and 72. He's a two-time World Series champion, 1960 and 1971. So a whole decade between his two titles he won. NL MVP 1966, World Series MVP 1971. He's a 12-time Golden Glove Award winner, 1961 through 1972. He's a 4-time NL batting champion, 1961, 64, 65, and 67. His number 21 is retired by the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's in the Pirates Hall of Fame. And like I mentioned, he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And he inducted in '73 with almost 93% of the vote. And it was the election method was a special election. He was a track and field star and an Olympic hopeful in his youth before deciding to turn his full attention to baseball. Like I mentioned, he played for the Cangrejeros de San Juan, or de Santurce, which means pretty much the crab fishermen, I guess, of Santurce, of the Puerto Rican Professional Baseball League. He quickly attracted the attention of Brooklyn Dodgers, who signed him to a bonus of $10,000. However, due to the bonus rule under which Clemente had signed and the Dodgers' decision to send him to the minor leagues, they lost Clemente to the Pirates, who drafted him after the '54 season. Like I already mentioned, he was he was an All-Star for 13 seasons, selected to 15 All-Star games. I already said all that. He was also the first player from the Caribbean and Latin America to win a World Series as a starting position player, 1960, to receive an NL award, 1966, and receive a World Series MVP award, '71. So he died, like I said, in a plane crash at the age of 38 while en route to deliver aid to victims in the Nicaraguan earthquake. Uh, they have an individual award that's a contribution. The players are a huge contribution to their team, and it's called the Roberto Clemente Award. Um, So he spent much of his time during the off-season involved in charity work. When Managua, the capital city of Nicaragua, was affected by a massive earthquake on December 23rd, '72, Clemente, who visited Managua 3 weeks before the quake, immediately set to work arranging emergency relief flights. He soon learned, however, that the aid packages on the first 3 flights had been diverted by corrupt officials of the Somoza government, never reaching victims of the quake. He decided to accompany the fourth relief flight, hoping that his presence would ensure that the aid would be delivered to the survivors. The plane, which he chartered for the New Year's Eve flight, a Douglas DC-7 cargo plane, had a history of mechanical problems, and it also had an inefficient number of flight personnel. The flight was missing a flight engineer and co-pilot, and it was also overloaded by 4,200 pounds. It crashed into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of the coast of Isla Verde, Green Island, Puerto Rico, immediately after takeoff on December 31st, '72, due to engine failure. Uh, so we had a lot of people were involved with that, the humanitarian um, effort. Let's see. In an interview for the ESPN documentary series Sports Century in 2002, Clemente's widow Vera mentioned that Clemente had told her that he thought he was going to die young several times. Indeed, while he was being asked when he would get his 3,000 career hit by broadcaster and future fellow Hall of Famer Richie Ashburn, In July '71, during the All Star Game activities, Clemente's response was, "Well, you never know. I, if I'm alive, like I said before, you never know because God tells you how long you're. You never know because God tells you how long you're going to be here. So you never know what can happen." I don't understand that. Don't make sense. But his number 21 was retired by the Pirates, but then I think his number 21 is. I'm not sure if it's retired by every team, but I know they have a day or a week that they put the 21 up. Not on the level of Jackie Robinson. I don't believe 42, but I'll let you know right now. See, Clemente's 21 was retired by the Pirates on April 6, '73, a few months after his election to the Hall of Fame. There have been calls for Major League to retire 21 league-wide, as was done with Jackie Robinson's 42 in '97, but the sentiment has been opposed by the Robinson family. In '99, Clemente was ranked number 20 on the Sporting News list of 100 greatest baseball players of all time. The highest-ranking Latin American and Caribbean player on the list. Later that year, he was nominated as a finalist for Major League Baseball All-Century Team. And like I said earlier, he was a finalist for the All-Century Team. But you know how hard it is to get on? I mean, during that time that that he was playing, the firepower of players that was around. I already named them. Willie Mays, Duke Snyder, Frank Robinson, Henry Erard. We had other guys coming up like Dick Allen. You had Rocky Colavito. You had Mickey Mantle. Um, Roger Maris had a couple nice, outstanding seasons. Right, the tail end of Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Stan Musial. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys were just outstanding baseball players. It is what it is. You had a lot of some fresher guys coming in the league like Billy Williams and George Foster, Tony Olivia, and different guys. But it was a hell of a pool to pick from back then. And then you're talking about all the other guys too that came afterwards: Ken Griffey Jr., Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, you know, Sammy Sosa. There's just a lot of guys to pick from. Let's see. Later that year, he was nominated as a finalist. Okay, I already read that. In 2020, the Athletic ranked Clemente at number 40 on his Baseball 100 list, compiled by sports writer Joe Posnanski. In '07, Clemente was selected for the all-time Rawlings Golden Glove team for the 50th anniversary of the creation of the Golden Glove Award. He was named to Major League Baseball's Latino Legends team in '05. That's a given there. In '73, Major League Baseball renamed the Commissioner's Award to the Roberto Clemente Award. It has been awarded every year to a player with outstanding baseball playing skills who is personally involved in the community. A trophy and donation check for a charity of the player's choice are presented annually at the World Series. Clemente was also elected to the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum of Hall of Fame in 2010 and the Caribbean Baseball Hall of Fame in 2015. In '03, he was also inducted into the United States Marine Corps Sports Hall of Fame. Near Old Forbes Field, where Clemente began his major league career, the city of Pittsburgh renamed a street in his honor. Additionally, the city named Roberto Clemente Memorial Park in his honor at Pirate City. The Pirates' spring training home in Bradenton, Florida. A section of the 27th Street East is named Roberto Clemente Memorial Highway. The United States Postal Service issued a Roberto Clemente postal stamp on August 17, 1984. The stamp was designed by Juan Lopez Bonilla and shows Clemente wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball cap with the Puerto Rican flag on the background. The Pirates originally erected a statue in the memory of Clemente at Three Rivers Stadium just before the '94 baseball All-Star game. It has been since moved to PNC Park when it opened in '01. It stands outside the park's center field gates. In '74, the Harlem River State Park in Morris Heights, the Bronx, New York City, was renamed Roberto Clemente State Park in his honor. In 2013, 40 years after his election to the Hall of Fame, a statue was unveiled at the park. It was the first statue honoring a Puerto Rican to be unveiled in New York City. In 12, the Puerto Rican Professional Baseball League, LBPPR, was renamed Liga de Béisbol Profesional Roberto Clemente. The number 21 was also permanently retired. A number of schools have been named after Clemente, including Roberto Clemente Community Academy in Chicago and the Roberto Clemente Charter School in Allenstown, Pennsylvania. In 02, 30 years after his death, Major League Baseball proclaimed September 15th as Roberto Clemente Day. In 73, President Richard Nixon honored Clemente with a Presidential Citizens Medal. That same day, Congress honored Clemente with the Congressional Gold Medal. In 03, President George W. Bush awarded Clemente the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Clemente is an iconic sports figure in Puerto Rico, widely revered by his people. In 2022, the government of Puerto Rico granted Clemente the formal recognition of Procer, national hero. The Coliseo Roberto Clemente opened in 73 in San Juan, and Estado Roberto Clemente opened in 2000 in Carolina are both named in his honor. So that's a lot of you got a lot going on there. So this was just a little tribute video to Roberto Clemente on his outstanding uh, outstanding work on the baseball diamond and also as a his humanitarian work. Um, this is what This is what great ones do. You know what I'm saying? The likes of Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, LeBron James. Uh, Different. There's been many over the years. Muhammad Ali. There's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's just it's hard to name everybody, but these guys never forgot where they came from. You know what I'm saying? And they always gave back to the community, and that's what separates them from many others. You know what I'm saying? And feliz cumpleaños, el, el Don Roberto Clemente. Happy birthday, Mr. Robert Clemente, Bob. He started going by Bob later on too. And some of the I don't know if he went by it or but they put that on the baseball cards, Bob Clemente. Um, I don't know if that was him wanting to do that or he went along with that because of to sound more American. But I think if that was the case, maybe he would have went by Bob Walker instead, or Bobby Walker. Because his second last name was Walker. Uh, so I don't know, but just a quick video, drop it. You know how I do it. Sabor Boricua, Boricua hasta la muerte, and happy birthday again.